What's up, everybody? It's the end of the 2020 hunting season. We're trying to this year do a lot more videos, show you guys what we do, kind of our systems for hunting and having big deer on our property. And first video is going to be supplemental feeding, how we go about doing it after hunting season, and just our little systems for keeping big deer on our property. Okay, here we are. We're out at this is actually a lease. So we have zero ability to plant food plots, do any habitat management, no hinge cutting, nothing at all. The only thing we can do is hunt. And we're obviously in Ohio, so we can feed. So just to give you a little breakdown, this is a 600-pound Banks feeder. This feeder is in the center of about a 250 or 300 acre block, basically in the center of the property, and it helps keep deer hubbed into the center of our property because all of our neighbors hunt, and if deer get off our property just like they do on yours, they get shot, especially a 150-inch 3-year-old or a really nice 4-year-old or whatever deer you're trying to get to that next level of growth. This is something a lot of people take into misconception. Feeders is just for hunting. It's stupid. Just a simple benefit of keeping deer on your property is priceless. We supplement feed from now, which is basically beginning of February, all the way up until bucks start losing their velvet. As soon as they start losing their velvet, we basically go back to just throwing corn in here. But one super important thing that we do on this place is 365 days a year we have feed on this place, and it just supplements the acorns. This year we had a bumper crop of acorns here, so there's still a lot of acorns we just pulled in here. You can see there's 5,000 deer tracks in here, and there's deer digging acorns all around here, but they're still going to come in here to this feeder, eat a little bit of corn. And especially right now, being it's the worst time of the year for deer to get crop or get food, whether they go 2 miles to get into a crop field or they're digging for acorns, this just gives them something a little bit easier for them to get to. They always have food. All right, one of the main reasons that I actually started this company, me and Vinny are doing it together, is, he's behind the camera actually, is to help people. And we can sell anything we want to sell to make money, but really that's not the whole purpose of what we're doing. We sell stuff that we personally use. I've been hunting big deer all over the country for a very long time, and I wanted everything that I could use in my power, especially in this state, to make deer get as big as they possibly can. And one big strain on deer, and we had it actually happen here several years ago, is EHD. So 2019, we went to the ATA show, and one of my main objectives was to get the best supplemental feed and program to nutritionally help deer and protect them, even if it's a little tiny bit from EHD, getting disease and helping them through bad times. And the other thing was this, a feeder. So I wanted the best feeder that deer would actually eat out of instead of being scared of. And I wanted something that was going to help the deer as much as I could possibly help them. And honestly, price wasn't an object, even though I'm just like everybody else. Basically, at the ATA in 19, my plan was to go around every single company that offered supplemental feed, minerals, anything that was supplemental to deer feeding, was me going up to them and just talking to them, asking them 5,000 questions and pumping them and trying to get them to not be what I wanted to buy, actually. And I mean, if anybody knows me, I'm very anal about every single little thing I do. And I went into every booth and I asked them guys 5,000 questions. And when I went into the Anilogics booth, those guys were head and shoulders above every other company that was at the ATA. And when I went in there, a couple of their pro staffers come and talk to me, and I'm like asking them some questions, and it was pretty quickly some of the main guys come over, and one guy was Reed, who is one of the developers of this, and we talked for probably an hour in the booth. And just his wealth of knowledge and what they've came from livestock and sheep industry and veterinarians and everything they do. Them guys are kind of pioneers of this whole entire industry of deer feeding. And not only deer feeding, it's what actually goes into this product. All right, one thing that everybody has to learn is learning how to read this right here. That's a guaranteed analysis tag. It tells you exactly what is in this product. And there's so many people out there buying stuff they're buying salt, or they're buying a totally lesser product just because of a price tag. Like the gold is 16% crude protein in there. There's a competitor that I could easily sell. It's a little bit cheaper. It's 8% protein. So if anybody out there's worked out, got into fitness, whatever, protein is a huge thing in growing muscle mass and obviously horn growth. So do you want to have 8% for a few cents cheaper, or do you want 16% to maximize your product that you're buying and maximize your dollar for what you're spending on all this? You're dumping thousands and thousands of dollars into hunting and tree stands and everything else, trail cameras, and then you buy this. If you're going to go this route, maximize everything you can get into this, or you could even take this product and cut it in half and save half of what another product is actually giving you by learning to read this. Okay, Anilogic basically makes two supplemental feeding products. One is the gold. Gold is for somebody that doesn't want to mess around and mix it with corn. You can save a lot of money by using the jack. The jack is just the actual supplement without the corn. And you're basically mixing the corn into your product instead of it already being in there in the gold, which saves you, I've it figured out to about 40 to 50 cents a pound if you do it yourself by going and buying the corn, which is obviously the way that most people are going to go. Just for simplicity purposes, you can feed the gold, but it's just going to cost you more money. This is pretty much how we do ours. We just dump it in little by little, mix it up by hand right in the feeder. The thing you got to remember about supplemental feeding is it's just not for horn growth. It's, this TX4 system, it has essential oils in it. It has vitamins in it. It has chelated minerals in it. It's got everything for your whole herd health. And some of it is not all instant gratification stuff. So we've been doing this here for 3 or 4 years now. 2 years with just the Anilogic, the last couple of years just feeding deer. But we've seen tremendous antler growth, but you're supplementing your whole herd from the fawns, like the does. Right now, does are really stressed. The bucks are stressed. These does come in here, they get all this food, they get all the mineral, they get all the essential oils, the vitamins, everything. It promotes healthier fawns, and then 4 or 5 years from now, them healthier fawns, they're consistently getting every single thing they need for 5 years. They're going to be way, way, way ahead of the game on deer that are not getting supplemental fed. So you have a 4-year-old deer that has everything it needs if it can't get it naturally through the woods and through what's growing here, especially if you have an area that doesn't have a lot of browse, or every situation's a little bit different with your habitat, but they get every single thing they need 365 days a year, their whole entire life. So you have to remember that this is like a game of longevity along with the gains of the next year.